have to admit, I love reading the comments, even when they're critical. And this guy, Escuela Vunculo 5589, my other video dealt with the dung beetle. And of course, I'm very much, I like dung beetle jokes because like I said, dung beetles and lawyers have a lot in common. And so this joke was about the dung beetle. You know, I said the dung beetle walked into a bar and it said, "Excuse me, sir, is this stool taken?" Well, this viewer had a really excellent suggestion. He said that I could incorporate, let me put this up on the screen. It says, you could, Lucid Dream responded that she thought the dung beetle joke was appropriate. And this guy says, you could incorporate the dung beetle and say a watermark on your firm's logo, Patrick. He's on to something here. It would be a good measurement for who's paying attention. Those who see it and say, ooh, a scarab. Do you go to Egypt often? Pyramids, crystals. Not paying attention, a smile and chuckle of recognition. Paying attention. Caphalia, he's a great guy. He said this. Caphalia said it wrong. He says, I may have to sue Pat. That dung beetle joke hurt. Okay, I'm sorry about that. And I told him I was worried about his reaction, and I am apologizing. Don't serve me an intent to sue letter, please. Okay. All right, so this is the infamous Poster 7. It's not a legal opinion, so don't rely on it. Just my thoughts on this. If I'm missing something because you guys have spent many years looking at this, then let me know, and I'll incorporate it into the next video. I want to show you also a clip from Jtown Press, all real property under their control. And it says, disturbances would be conduct which otherwise tends to impede or disturb the public or employees in the performance of their duties, or which otherwise impedes or disturbs the general public in transacting business or obtaining the services provided on Postal Service property. This is very wide. This is called discretion. So the manager has the discretion to throw your ass out if the manager thinks that you are somehow impeding or obstructing. Doesn't matter what the fuck you think. This is right there, discretion to throw your ass out. Jtown Press got the cop to believe that, you know, she was right. No. Photographs for news, advertising, or commercial purposes. Photographs for news purposes. You'll hear Jtown Press. Oh, yeah, I'm here for news. I'm here for news. That doesn't get you out of the woods. May be. May is not shall. That's something that you need to understand if you want to become a lawyer. What's the difference between may and shall? May is permissive. Shall is obligatory. It says may be taken. Doesn't say anything about videotape, does it? May be taken in entrances, lobbies, foyers, corridors, or auditoriums when used for public meetings. You didn't hear her talk about that. So if this was for a public meeting, then you could take pictures, photographs in entrances, lobbies, foyers, or corridors. Not just, you can just take them. Photographs for news purposes may be taken in entrances, lobbies, foyers, corridors, or auditoriums when used for public meetings, except when prohibited by official signs or security force personnel, which, by the way, can be just private security, or other authorized personnel, or a federal court order or rule. So that's it. Now, videotaping, you know, like we had with Rogue Nation, the idea that you can ban photographs but not ban videotapes, that would be creating an absurd result, which is something you never do in statutory interpretation. And this is the one I'm going off of, Poster 7, August 2016. If there's a later one, fine. Now let's go to the actual Code of Federal Regulations, which is where this comes from. And by the way, you'll see that the language is identical in a lot of places. Conformity with signs and directions, you got to obey them. All persons in or on property shall comply. So notice that this is shall. Remember I told you shall is obligatory, not may. It doesn't say may comply. With official signs of a prohibitory or directory nature. Disturbances, conduct, which otherwise tends to impede or disturb. Same thing we read before. And then here's the sign language that, you know, Jtown, it's got it under section I, but Poster 7 quotes it again. Something I found on the United States Postal Service, and they talk about non-news organizations. So Jtown says they're news. Okay, fine, they're news. Okay, they're, you know, let's just say we give them that for now. And then if it's non-news, then it has to go to the Office of Rights and Permissions. But these regulations here also say that if the postmaster or person in charge denies your request, it doesn't go to this Office of Rights and Permissions. And then all requests from a qualified news reporting service. I didn't look that up. Here are a few examples of requests that must be directed. Office of Rights and Permissions, request to use the images of historic, request to use high resolution professional grade camera. Well, that's, I'm sure, what Jtown Press does. Or I saw there was one time when they were at a post office where they had their tripod. Here comes the manager.
John. It's just that she was up here, she's filming up here, and they're not allowed to. Okay. They can stay in the lobby, and in order to do my picture or your picture, if she was to put it on social media, she has to have your permission in writing. You're giving them permission. And I told her she does not have my permission to do that.
We may be able to sue her, but it's not illegal.
So right there, you hear this person who's in charge says, Jtown Press does not have permission. About suing Jtown? No. Well, not in terms of the regulations themselves. If she wanted to sue for some other form of harassment, whatever.
Yeah, but she cannot have me on camera.
Ma'am, I mean, she can. If she's here, she can record whatever she can see.
Not true.
Unless we're going to kick her out of the post office.
No, she can stay out there in the lobby, but yeah, she was up here. You can't do no trans. You can't film and do it.
Okay, now the manager is saying she could stay out in the lobby. So that would be permission. So as long as Jtown Press is staying in the lobby right now, yeah, it's okay.
You can't do that.
Was that filming?
That's exposure.
Yeah, tell him, was that filming transaction?
Excuse me, ma'am?
Was I filming transaction?
Yeah, you was up there.
So somebody was up there doing a transaction.
You were
Don't lie, there's two cameras. Yeah, I can. It's not against the law for me to film the transaction.
No, ma'am, you can't.
Do you have a memorandum of understanding with the post office?
You can stay out
Yeah, police department.
Once again, this person in charge is saying that Jtown Press can stay in the lobby. So that is permission. No matter how you slice it, that is permission.
No, ma'am. But they don't want you. She doesn't want you in her lobby right here beyond their little metal
But it
detectors.
doesn't, this is open. Can I show you something real quick before you make a mistake? Sure. That's right.
Can I show you something before you make a mistake? Here we go.
So anyway, this is actually what they call rules and regulations governing conduct on Postal Service.
There we go. The infamous Poster 7.
Can't speak today. Property. So this right here, I told her I was doing it for news, but she has a problem with commas.
No, actually, you have a problem with commas, and you have a real problem understanding something that's plain.
Commas separate ideas.
So much for your legal analysis.
These foyers, which is here. Right.
Isn't it foyers? Tell me, guys.
Foyers, lobbies, anywhere the general public is allowed. I'm not pulling a Carl Lewis over the countertops and going in the restricted areas.
Completely agree with you.
Right.
Yeah, and you're completely wrong, Mr. John Smith.
The only place I want to be.
Sure, but she doesn't want you in her lobby, and she is the custodian of this post office.
Okay.
Correct. Hey, you're on to something. Good point.
But you're gonna uphold her feelings then?
I'm gonna uphold her feelings.
Yes. Well, I mean, the law says that I'm allowed to be there, so you would be technically
I'm
enforcing.
gonna wait until this young lady just doesn't want you in here. She'll probably ask you to be removed at some point if you continue to violate what she's asking you to
All right, the cop is right. That's also something that can be done.
do, and then I would ask you to leave the property.
So am I being trespassed at this moment?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
right.
You don't want to.
I just, ma'am, you can.
Property, right?
Well, I'm gonna go back in there because that's.
If are you going to perform a transaction?
Yes. I have to buy a stamp.
Okay, you're buying.
Well, buying a stamp. Okay, great. Commercial purpose.
It's public information.
Deadlock here.
I'm gonna go back in there and conduct business.
So I guess the only thing I can do at that point is if you just don't want her here. But I mean,
Yeah, he's right about that.
That would be a federal lawsuit, and
yeah.
I will definitely. That's a promise.
but
Yeah.
if she is legally where she can be, then she can record whatever she can see.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Just don't have me on there.
Well, if you never came into the camera, you never would have been.
Just, don't apologize for wasting your time. But you educate.
I apologize for wasting your time. Anyway, that's it for Poster 7. I was asked by Rogue Nation to look at it. I did. If you guys who have been studying this much longer than I am have seen some cases that says I'm wrong, or some opinions from the Postal Service that says I'm wrong, anything from the Postal Inspection Service that says that I'm wrong, I'm willing to listen. I'm not saying I'm the last word on this. I'm just telling you that from what I've seen, that the Jtown Press interpretation is completely bonkers. Very, very funny. I like that. Now, if I haven't already said, why do I think lawyers and dung beetles have a lot in common? So I do think there is some similarities here, but there is one notable difference. The dung beetle ranks ahead of a lawyer. And with that, I will say have a good weekend. I'm still kind of in la la land after winning my trial because my brain is spaced out, as evidenced by the fact that we are talking about dung beetles on a Friday afternoon. But hey, it's the way it is. Ciao. Catch you on the next one.